Hello and welcome to our very first Sapphic Writers podcast. Sapphic Writers is an online community of women and non-binary people who share a mutual Sapphic experience. It's as simple as that. We provide a space to post work and receive support and feedback. We've also recently started producing zines, with our second issue, Calm After the Storm, due to be released on Sunday the 27th of September. We want to use this podcast to talk to fellow Sapphic writers and share what we're currently working on. In this episode, we will be celebrating our first zine, Sapphics in Lockdown. So for now, I'm going to hand it over to our artists, poets and writers. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Kirsty Ann Waters. I'm a 25-year-old poet and spoken word performer from Glasgow. My pronouns are she, her, and I identify as bisexual, hence the link with Sapphic Writers. I'm a relatively new poet. I only started writing sort of last winter time, and I only performed for the first time in January of this year. I managed to get in 3 performances before the whole corona lockdown thing, so I'm hoping to do more once things start to open up again. I started writing poetry as a sort of coping mechanism for my depression and anxiety, and my love just sort of grew from there, and it's just become a really big part of my life. So I'd like to thank Sapphic Writers for having me on the podcast. I tend to write about mental illness, feminism, familial love, Scottish/Glaswegian pride. I have a few poems about how much I love Glasgow, also things like my queer identity and love and loneliness and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to read one poem for you. It's called Rules for Self-Isolation, and it was written right at the start of lockdown, which was 2 weeks earlier for me because unfortunately I was showing symptoms and got sent home from work. So this was 2 weeks before the national lockdown happened. My flatmate promptly left the flat and went to his girlfriend, so I was just kind of stuck alone with my thoughts and deteriorating mental state. So this poem is a result of that time. Rules for self-isolation. Number 1. Keep your room clean. If you're going to be stuck here for the foreseeable future, you can at least be stuck in a pleasant space. Number 2. Keep up your morning routine. Try to maintain some semblance of normalcy. Drink water, meditate, eat breakfast. Maybe don't exercise. You are sick after all. Get changed. It will help maintain some line between day and night, sleep and awake. Number 3. All meals should be eaten at your desk. The bed you're confined to should remain a crumb-free area. Plus, you read that it's bad for your sleeping pattern to do anything in bed other than sleep. Or fuck. Number 4. Realise that you're only going to be in bed for the next week. So if you don't do anything in bed, you will literally just sleep. Fucking is out, for obvious reasons. Also, your desk is a piece of shit. Eat toast in bed and revel in the minor rebellion against rules you set for yourself. Number 5. Do not watch the news. Do not read the news. Do not listen to the news. Don't go anywhere bloody near the news. It is just a cold. It is probably just a cold. Number 6. Update your friends and family that you're fine and that it is probably just a cold. Mute that one chat with your medic friend who paints a frighteningly stark reality of the situation. Number 7. Start working your way through the pile of books on your bedside table. Thank God you work in a library and have 12 on standby, just in case. Feel a bit sad you won't be working in the library for a while. Remember that libraries are extremely public spaces as well as breeding grounds for infection, what with all the touching shared books and whatnot. Think that it's probably for the best that you are off for a while. Number 8. Keep busy. Start working your way through all of those boring tasks you've been putting off for ages. Seal the bath. Superglue that one knob that falls off every time you touch it. Hoover your room. Do it again the next day. Wonder why your room is so dusty, and if it's always like this, and you just haven't noticed because you don't spend much time in here. Not since your last depressive episode anyway, in which you were so numb you wouldn't have noticed a hammer hitting you in the face. Finish your list and feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety and frustration that you still have 4 days left. Number 9. Take care of your mental health. Eat well. Use your light box. Call your friends, your mum, your gran. Talk to anyone that will listen. Except your flatmate, who is currently staying at his hypochondriac girlfriend's house and is clearly being influenced by her. Not the energy you need right now. Try not to feel the overwhelming sense of loneliness lurking at the back of your mind, ready to cave in at any moment. Distract yourself. Look at memes. Avoid the coronavirus ones, funny as they are. Watch way too many episodes of QI. Go to write in your journal. Realise you've finished your last notebook, don't have any more paper, and can't go to the shops to get another one. Buy an eye-wateringly expensive notebook online to cheer yourself up. Wait by the door in anticipation of it showing up. Because what else are you going to do? Number 10. Try to write poetry. Write this stupid list instead.
Hi, my name's Hayley Fox Roberts, and this poem is called Diurnal Diphony. Every day a new concern, never feeling settled. Simple pleasures, short uplift, list them in a litany. Every day a day of health, surely test my mettle. Strong and sure each day sets out, cry some tears or raise a shout. Day comes in and night goes out, some diurnal diphony. Every night another dream, wishful or reflective. Sleep a while or sleep a day, sleeping beauty never lay so long in shallows, depth deceptive. Evening settles like a shawl, throat too full to croak or call. Twilight mist will soften all and bring us to another day. Shape of well, the shape of clay. Here we stand or here we lay, each sharp moment one more way to bring us to another day.
Hi everyone, my name is Emrys and today I'm going to be reading 2 pieces on behalf of Scarlett. I'll just read out her bio as well. Scarlett is a 24-year-old trans feminine butch non-binary person, an anarchist and an eclectic neo-pagan. She started writing poetry when she was 14 and mostly slam poetry, although due to mental health issues she hasn't performed since 2016. She came out as transgender around 2016 and then started to transition in 2019 after a long time of being held down by medical gatekeeping, and later came to understand her identity as a trans feminine non-binary butch as opposed to a binary trans woman. The first piece that I'm going to read that Scarlett wrote is Kiss Me in Quarantine, which was part of our lockdown section of our zine, and it's a very beautiful piece and I'm really excited to be able to read it on behalf of Scarlett, so I hope you like it. Kiss me in quarantine. Wrap your hands around my waist and hold me close as the world falls apart. Living in late-stage capitalism, even ironically, means living with a future uncertain. Will we break the system, or will the system destroy everything we hold dear and leave us smouldering ruins of banks, football stadiums, and the mansions of billionaires? We'll never know anything. But now, and so I beg you, kiss me in quarantine. Intertwine your fingers with mine and hold me close as this system begins its inevitable breakdown. Stock market crashing, pandemic global, capitalism in stadium. Let's hope the only kind of currency we'll need in this brave new world is solidarity, and not 4-ply toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Thank you. This next piece is called Migratory Birds. Again, it was picked as part of our lockdown section for our first scene. And I hope you like it. And I hope the birds fly far and carry me to Melbourne or wherever the fuck I can live free. The song echoes through my basement room and I lay there with a future uncertain and panties a size too big because nobody ever taught me how to be a woman. The bra that belongs to the set won't even stay put with my lack of sizable blondonks. What a shame I was born like this and not a migratory bird of some sort or shape. A bird or beaver so that I could build a place to call home unbothered by the construct of private property, at least until the bulldozers and the cement and the tar came crashing into my huddle's four walls to erase nature permanently and make space for the 1600 strip mall that will be closed and abandoned in less time than a tree takes to grow to size if one let it. If all dogs go to heaven, then what about the degenerate bitches like me? Those that were shamed for merely trying to express themselves and soon learned to hate the very essence of their being. Everything they were, are, and ever will be is the identity, not shifting like the wind in December when we smoked secret cigarettes in between vineyards and countryside chapels. I lost the delusion that life might contain more than this when I was 16, and since then, a host of therapists and medications have tried to catch and cage it once again to place it in my brain, calmly yet firmly asking it to stay put. Birds, again, what a classic metaphor, as if it's not overused and overburdened by all wannabe poets. Thank you. That was Amris reading for Scarlett.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Farrell Elliott. I wrote the poem I Wish when I was discovering about myself, my sexuality, my identity. And this poem really put in perspective what I was feeling and what I wanted out of life. And it's simple, but I feel like the words really have a meaning. And that's what I wanted to convey. I am a mom of two. I love baking. I am an artist. I love walking on the beach. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I Wish by Farrell Elliott. To see the sights and climb the mountains, to discover every peak and crevice, to dive deep, to wander, to wonder, I wish.
Hello, my name's Esther Femin and I'm based in Hull in the UK. I write mostly about my own experiences, which tend to be quite dark, exploring things like emotional struggles and loneliness. I like experimenting with style as well, so different rhyme schemes or different forms such as sonnets or haiku. I feel like that adds extra ways of approaching and expressing subjects. Out. Back then, to be in was safe, to hide and close doors and windows on a more vibrant life than the rigidly ordered, legally cloaked America, where perfectly modest skirts and ties and grey flannel opposition denied our lives. To be at the inn and others of the like was like exhaling, unloosening joints to move in the ways we wanted, no left or right, binaries cribbed from heterosexual life, back then the first language for common points. In '69 the police came, and homophobic America went about its way, silencing sexual and gender dissent, calling us diseased, incurable, natural crimes because their God, or whoever, since immemorial times, answered difference with hate and pink sewn on signs. But this time, they didn't stand fearfully aside, as queer people were charged with living outside what's acceptable, and the crowd, kindred alike, struck up against the violent, persecuting tide, and outburst the first national declaration of pride. That earthquake trembled, and we feel it still, out, in the wild, where we still face hate, bred down through homophobic churches, communities and states, but half a century has uncovered a ceaseless will that has started us up that shining hill, where one day, sooner it lifts into view, love as love, plain and simple, will be no longer knocked with the actions and speech of an ignorant world, for we are all of us too, beautiful, strong, and full of love for you. The kiss. One of those nights I must have said nothing, watching you smoke while I shivered, too drunk to talk, long since tired of sweating and dancing. You closed your eyes and swayed, your thin eyeliner chipped. Nothing to say, just watching another person be there, inside the circle. Throw away the tab and bury yourself in my arms, groaning from the headache. Now I'm swaying. I feel you breathing with me, laboured, exhausted from another evening living as much as possible. You hold me back. When we kissed, every hour passed by higher than an angel, brighter than all the suns. I knew you were smiling. All our world was a stage, lit by neon and cigarette ends. The Lady Anne, she dances still.
Hello, my name is Julia Da Silva, and I usually introduce myself by saying that I used to be the queen of a magical faraway country until I became an anarchist and set out to roam the worlds in search of a fairy commune that will accept me as one of their own. I'm currently based in Toronto, where I just finished an undergraduate degree in philosophy and critical theory, and I write fantasy as well as poetry with a particular interest in the politics of magic systems. I usually tell people that my writing is mainly informed by my work in climate justice organizing, exploring questions of political responsibility and queerness, embodiment, love, and hope in worlds coming apart and being rebuilt, which is all true, but as maybe is clear in my poem here, Promise Me This Poem Will Always Be a Riot, really I am just trying to get over the first love of my life. Promise me this poem will always be a riot. I want this to be a poem you can give to your beloved. I want these words to demand hand-printed paper with gold-fibered violets. I want them to print gardens on any page they touch. I want every comma a red ribbon and every period a glass vial in which you offer her your heart. I want the seams facing out when you give it. To make it clear every line is tangled in, borrowed, or stolen from others as everything is. But I want to make sure that the hinge those lines form opens a door just unfamiliar enough that it leaves the two of you alone. I hope she will read it the moment you press it into your hands and taste it the moment you brush it against her lips. I hope it tastes like clementines and roses and donuts with pink frosting, and I hope that in the giving you will forget me just long enough to know you have created more than I could in the writing. I want these letters to capture and dissolve in that particular quality of sunlight, the one I must learn to forget. The kind that reaches you at ground level, on the carpet, at the stage when you are still afraid to sit too close. The kind that goes stale as it reaches her because she is brighter. The kind that films the second-story apartments of your memories and leaves its own dust, sunlight you will keep coughing up when everything it lit has faded. When I choke, I want to know. You drift in it still. And for the record, should you be someone prepared to defend the world as it is, the world that locks doors and decides what sunlight reaches where, then I do not want this poem to be a love poem for you. When you present it to her, I want it to be so potent it will burst into flame under her glowing fingers, and she will aim it at a cop car or a grocery store mogul bent to an email price-fixing bread before she laughs and pulls you into a kiss, and if that doesn't light she's the one on your lips, I want its ashes rubbed into your whitest shirt. I want this poem to be a curse and a sweetening. I want it to burn with every future you long to give her. And if you cannot give it to her yet, I want this poem to be sturdy enough to fold into your pocket, and I want you to keep it with you as you join me in the coming fight. And every now and then, promise me, you will pull it out and read it, so that someday, when you want to sew her name into colored fabric as the only flag to which you could be loyal, you will have the words to ask her to march beside you.
Hi, my name's Alice Godber and I'm an artist and poet from Beverley in East Yorkshire. I'm also the founder of the creative platform Yada Yada Noise, which holds monthly open mic nights, and during lockdown co-produced a series of podcast episodes with local poets. A lot of my art and poetry focuses on using my creativity to heal and express emotions. The first piece I'm going to read is called I'm Happy For You. You're overweight. More men would find you attractive if you lost some weight. But I'm happy for you. If you're happy, then so am I. I wouldn't publicise it though. Everyone should have their secrets. You wouldn't want all of Beverley finding out, would you? But I'm happy for you. I just think the gays have a tendency to overshare. They always try and shove it down your throat. I don't see why. In my day, they didn't do that. It is unnatural. Well, for you, maybe it's more natural. Oh, I don't know. It's complicated. But I'm happy for you. If you're happy, then so am I. I've been dreading you telling me. I just don't want you to get hurt. People can be nasty. You don't want people to talk behind your back, because they will. But I'm happy for you. If you're happy, then so am I. You're not going to put it everywhere, are you? Once you do that, there's no going back. Everyone will see you differently. What if you change your mind? Which one of you is the man? I'm assuming you're the butch one. What you need is a strong man. But I'm happy for you, honestly. This has been a really good chat, don't you think? If you're happy, then so am I. Sparks. I dreamt of a woman in a red leopard print dress, a very specific detail, but true. And we danced in the street, surrounded by strangers. Honey, there's no time, and this isn't real, so don't stop dancing. Forget the strangers. They're not real either. Let's pretend. I don't usually dance, but it feels so right being close to you. I ask if you're happy, and you smile, moving closer. I don't want this dream to end. Nothing can compare to these sparks. It feels so right. Thank you to everybody who submitted to our first zine, and thank you again for sending us these audio clips. We really hope you enjoyed our first episode, and hopefully it won't be long until we're back in your ears. Just a reminder, our second zine will be released on Sunday the 27th of September. We can't wait to share it with you all. Follow us online through Instagram at Sapphic Writers Online and through Facebook, which is Sapphic Writers. I'll see you all soon.